Okay. Well, more than 1 billion women around the world will experience menopause in 2025, and a new documentary is looking to normalize the conversation around what was once considered a taboo topic.
Menopause is the one universal female experience. If you are born with ovaries, you will be menopausal. You may or may not be pregnant. You may or may not have fibroids. You may or may not have a lot of things that primarily affect women. Menopausal, I guarantee you will be.
All right, that was a clip from the film The M Factor, Shredding the Silence on Menopause, which premieres tonight, by the way. The woman behind that documentary is a familiar face, part of the Pix 11 family, Tamsen Fadal, who joins us this morning to discuss the importance of having these conversations. It is so good to see you, Tamsen.
So good to see you both.
Wow.
So proud of you. You've been doing amazing things. And so let's talk about the documentary. By the way, premieres tonight.
Yes.
WLIW, right? So I want to talk about why you decided to kind of navigate in this direction, right? And it all began with your own journey in this very building.
Yeah, it was like I'm staring at that anchor desk right there because that's really where it all happened. It was November of 2019, and I was in the middle of doing a newscast, looking at the prompter. Words weren't coming out of my mouth right. And then I just got this intense hot flash that turned into heart palpitations, and I was escorted off the set and landed on the floor of the women's bathroom. And had no idea what was going on. The word menopause was like way when I was going to be older. It wasn't then. And I went from one doctor to another to try to figure out what was happening. And I finally got a note in my patient portal from the doctor that said, "In menopause, any questions?" And that was it. And it was like, "Have a good day. You're in menopause." Furthest thing from my mind, but it started me down this road of discovery of what was going on in so many women that were suffering as a result of not knowing.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for doing the work. So what made you or sparked you to say, you know what, I need to do a documentary. People need to know more about this.
Well, I mean, I've never done anything like this before. I think the more people I talk to on social media, the more people I talk to in real life, I realize like we've got to get this word out in a bigger way, right? We talk one-on-one, we communicate, we tell our friends, but we were still whispering about it for such a long time.
Yeah.
And so the documentary, when I started with my partner, Joanne Lamarca, we came together and we said, look, we know how to do interviews. We know how to, we know the world of television. Maybe that's how we tell these women's stories and find the experts that are willing to talk. And that's what we did, and it started to come together. Then we met two partners that did documentaries on the West Coast. So the four of us decided to come together, and the M Factor was born.
Yeah, and I love that it's here, right? But I want to talk about the journey for a second of the documentary, because we were talking about how taboo of a topic it is.
Yeah.
And you faced that word no many times when it came to the documentary, and you, in the very true Tamsen way, were like, okay, great, thanks so much for your no, I'm going to keep going. So talk about the perseverance to keep it going.
Yeah, we got a lot of no's. We got a lot of, it's a niche audience. There's not going to be an audience for it. No one's going to watch something like this. Half the world is going to be in menopause by 2025, a few short months away. So there's definitely an audience for it. But more important than that, there was nobody really talking about it. They were talking inside of doctors' offices, right? We talked and whispered about it behind closed doors, but I don't know about you, but I never had this conversation with my mother or girlfriends.
Not even my doctor.
No, not even your doctor. And that was the big problem. So we kept pushing back against that, and we actually started it on our iPhones. That's how it began in Times Square, walking around at the end of the pandemic, like, can we talk to you about menopause? And people would go, they'd pull their masks down and go, what? No.
Yeah.
But we really did push back against it, and finally PBS partnered, and so it's on PBS, and it's just been really great, and it's streaming there as well, pbs.org. So I'm so grateful we kept pushing, but we got a lot of no because of that exact reason. People didn't want to talk about it.
I mean, that's just it. Perimenopause, menopause. A lot of women don't know the difference, and there are so many myths out there.
So many.
Anything that really sticks out to you that you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought of menopause, and I think that a lot of people do, as this like old woman's thing that happens. Perimenopause can start in your late 30s, early 40s, and last for 7 to 10 years in some cases with regard to symptoms. I had no idea. So a lot of times, if you saw me grumpy around here or like not very nice or raging, it was because perimenopause, my hormones are all over the place. And but that's a really real thing, and it can be really debilitating. And that's a problem a lot of women face, and still don't have doctors that have been educated on it to be able to talk to them, to your point.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like I said, my doctor never talked about it, but when you started posting videos and talking about different symptoms that you had, I'm assuming, because it happened to me just by watching some of your videos, lights were going off. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's me. Are you finding a lot of people coming up to you probably saying, thank you, because now I know what's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful for that, because I think that it shows us different directions that we need to go with things. Like, we still need to deal with workplace policy. We still need, we're in the prime of our careers, and we're in the workplace dealing with so many of these symptoms. And so, yes, I love when people talk to me about it, because then it lets me know where else we need to shine that light in this area.
I want to play a soundbite because it affects women of color more adversely, right? And so we have one of your interviews. Play the clip right now, and then we'll talk about it.
There's so much of your identity that's wrapped up, and your confidence that's wrapped up in your sexuality and your ability to feel sexual, and to have that just take that away before I've really been able to fully explore. I just started to figure out who I am, and then I have to figure it out again. It really messed with me in ways that I totally was not expecting.
You see the emotion behind that, right? Telling the story too, and I'm sure you dealt with that a lot during many of your interviews. But is there, I guess, Tamsen, this a clinical bias when it comes to diagnosing women?
Sure. Across the board, diagnosing women of color. She's in her early 30s, so she was dealing with menopause as a result of medically induced menopause, and had no idea she was going to be thrust into it. I think one of the other things, women of color, Black women, deal with more intense symptoms, deal with symptoms a lot longer, and there's still so much research that needs to be done. I had no idea we were so far behind when it comes to women in the healthcare system. And so that's really, I've realized what this fight is about, is that making sure that women, we get the research, the dollars get dumped into healthcare, and in particular menopause, because we just get a small fraction of it, and it can last up to a third of a woman's life, if not more. So stuff needs to be done.
Well, first of all, also congratulations, because from what I understand, this is being used as a learning tool, an official learning tool, and now you've got a book coming out as well.
I do. The book is How to Menopause, and we just, it's got 42 experts in it interviewed, because I like to keep talking and talking to people. So I did a lot of that for the book. But the book goes beyond what happens in the doctor's office. So we talk about workplace, we talk about sex, brain, we talk about relationships, and how to advocate for yourself. Because if you walk into a doctor's office and the doctor goes, yeah, you know what, this is just an age thing, Hazel, you'll get through it, that's not okay. And so I really want women to be able to stand up for themselves, and if that doesn't work, they find another doctor.
I know we got to go. Are you seeing a shift in doctors because of this, saying, you know what, maybe I was negligent in really informing the patient?
100. It's such a great question. Yes, we are, and I hope we see more.
And I think maybe your husband needs to write a book about how men need to learn men need to learn about menopause, right?
He knows more than he wants, I think, at this point.
Tamsen, so wonderful seeing you.
Great to see you both. Thank you so much for the time.
Congrats on all your success.
Thanks.